You are exhausted, not the kind of tired a good night's sleep can fix, but a deep cellular drain that drags you through every single day. You probably blame your workload. You blame your stress. You blame your age. You are looking in the wrong place. The real culprit is sitting right under your right rib cage, completely suffocating in a thick, yellowish layer of toxic fat. Your liver is drowning. And the most terrifying part is that the very things you consider healthy are actively destroying it. Most people believe that a fatty liver is the exclusive punishment for heavy drinkers or those who eat greasy fast food every day. That is a dangerous medical myth. You can be a strict vegan, consuming large bowls of sweet tropical fruits and drizzling premium olive oil over your salads, and still develop severe hepatic steatosis. The ultimate villain, the most efficient fat-generating machine for your liver, is wrapped in a perfectly healthy disguise. It is called fructose, fruit sugar. Let us step inside the human body and observe the exact biological mechanism. When you consume standard glucose, your entire body, including your muscles, your brain, and your peripheral cells, can instantly absorb and use it for energy. Glucose is democratic. Fructose is a dictatorship. It bypasses every single metabolic checkpoint in your bloodstream and heads straight for the liver. Your liver is the only organ equipped with the specific enzymes required to metabolize fructose. When a massive influx of concentrated fruit sugar hits the hepatic system, the liver panics. It cannot process it fast enough. So it triggers an emergency biological process called de novo lipogenesis. In simple terms, your liver acts as a chemical factory that instantly converts this excess fructose into microscopic lipid droplets. These fat droplets do not circulate away. They physically embed themselves deep inside the liver tissue. Imagine millions of tiny balloons of fat inflating inside a confined space. They expand and squeeze the delicate micro blood vessels. They choke the hepatic cells, effectively cutting off their vital oxygen supply. The liver tissue begins to suffocate, leading to low-grade, chronic cellular inflammation. You will not feel this happening. Your liver has absolutely no pain receptors inside its tissue. It cannot send a sharp, stabbing ache to your brain to warn you that it is failing. In medical science, we have a saying, chronic fatigue is the true pain of the liver. If you have a slight, stubborn bulge in your upper abdomen and you drag yourself through the afternoon, desperately relying on caffeine, your central metabolic engine is already breaking down. If you were to lie down for a clinical ultrasound right now, the monitor would likely show a bright, dense, enlarged organ that is struggling to perform its basic blood filtering duties. This is the foundation of insulin resistance. This is the quiet precursor to severe cardiovascular disease. But the human body possesses a terrifyingly powerful survival mechanism, a biological loophole that allows you to reverse this damage completely. It is a harsh, demanding, but incredibly effective reset button. I am not talking about a trendy detox juice or a magical liver pill. I am talking about the absolute, deliberate absence of all consumption, a 14-day water fasting protocol. This is not a diet. It is a radical, non-surgical biological intervention designed to force your body to literally eat its own disease. The mere thought of surviving on nothing but water and tea for 14 days sounds impossible to most people. The fear of unbearable, crippling hunger stops them before they even begin. But here is the medical secret that no one tells you about prolonged fasting. The hunger you fear is entirely mechanical, and it can be completely deactivated. To understand this, we must look at the mechanics of the gut. Your stomach and intestines are lined with nerves that constantly signal your brain. As long as there is residual food, waste, or even mucus moving through your digestive tract, the muscular walls of your intestines will continue to contract. This mechanical movement, known as peristalsis, sends urgent signals to your brain demanding more food. That is the gnawing hunger you feel. Therefore, the absolute prerequisite for a successful 14-day water fast is what we call intestinal clearing. You do not just stop eating, you must medically flush your system first. By using specific saline solutions like Glauber's salt or undergoing a professional colon hydrotherapy flush, you force your digestive tract to empty itself completely. You drink and flush until what comes out is as clear as mountain water. When your intestines are completely hollow, a profound biological shift occurs. Because there is absolutely no physical matter left to trigger the stretch receptors in the gut walls, the intestinal muscles stop moving. They lie flat and dormant. And when the gut stops moving, the hunger signals to the brain are permanently disconnected. By day 3, the physical sensation of hunger completely vanishes. You enter a state of profound mental clarity and physical stillness. Your body realizes that no external fuel is coming. It is at this exact moment that the real metabolic surgery begins. By day 4, your liver completely exhausts its final, stubborn reserves of glycogen. The biological safety net is gone. The emergency alarm rings loudly across your central nervous system. To survive, your biological engine must switch fuel sources entirely. It turns its attention inward, locking onto the exact tissue that is destroying you. This metabolic pivot triggers a fiercely efficient, almost brutal mechanism called autophagy. In Greek, it literally translates to self-eating. Understand this clearly. Autophagy is not a gentle cleanse. It is a highly aggressive search and destroy mission conducted by your own immune system. The body dispatches specialized, heavily armed scavenger cells known as macrophages. These are not passive observers. They are microscopic executioners. They patrol the bloodstream, hunting down damaged senescent cells, and most importantly, they zero in on those dense yellow lipid droplets, suffocating your liver tissue. Because there are 0 calories coming in through the mouth, the body physically cannibalizes its own visceral fat to keep the brain firing and the heart pumping. The liver is forced to metabolize its own poison. It breaks down the trapped triglycerides, converting them into ketone bodies. These ketones cross the blood-brain barrier, which explains the sudden, razor-sharp mental focus you experience around day 7. The brain thrives on ketones. Let us look at the clinical blood work during this phase. During this deep fasting state, your liver enzymes, specifically ALT and AST, show a dramatic stabilization. These enzymes leak into the bloodstream when liver cells are actively dying from fat strangulation. As the macrophages clear the fat, the cell walls fortify. The leaking stops entirely. Furthermore, your lipid panel undergoes a radical transformation. The dangerous, small, dense LDL particles, the ones that act like microscopic shrapnel, tearing your arterial walls, plummet. Your body is quite literally pulling cholesterol out of the bloodstream to construct new, healthy cell membranes for the rebuilding process. Over the next 10 days, the internal pressure inside the hepatic microvessels steadily drops. The systemic inflammation, the low-grade fever that was boiling in your cells, completely subsides. The liver tissue begins to breathe again. By day 14, the anatomical structure of the organ has been radically altered. Clinical ultrasounds frequently reveal a complete reversal of mild to moderate steatosis. The suffocating layer of fat is gone. It was burned as fuel. You do not just lose 15 kilograms of weight, you lose the exact weight that was killing you. But surviving the 14 days of water is only half the surgical procedure. The most dangerous critical phase begins the exact moment you decide to break the fast. After 2 weeks of absolute zero input, your intestinal tract is a sterile, echoing, empty corridor. The thick, inflamed mucosal lining that once protected your gut wall has completely shed and renewed itself. It is a blank biological slate. If you celebrate the end of your fast by consuming a heavy, oil-soaked meal or heavily processed, sugar-laden carbohydrates, you will trigger violent gastrointestinal distress. You will shock a dormant, highly sensitive system, potentially causing severe electrolyte imbalances known as refeeding syndrome. You must treat the refeeding phase not as eating, but as the deliberate repopulation of a devastated virgin ecosystem. The immediate priority is not calories. It is living bacteria. The very first substance to touch your newly formed stomach lining must be raw, living, unpasteurized fermented food. I am specifically referring to traditional, unpasteurized milk kefir, or actively fermenting raw sauerkraut, the kind that bubbles when you open the jar. You are not eating for energy. You are deploying a tactical army. These raw fermented foods carry billions of live, active lactobacillus bacteria. As they travel through the sterile, emptied intestines, They face zero competition from bad bacteria. They immediately latch onto the fresh mucosal wall. They multiply exponentially, establishing dominant, protective colonies before any pathogenic bacteria or yeast have a chance to take root. They rebuild your immune system from the inside out. To properly install this new microbiome, you must maintain this raw fermented protocol for at least 3 days post-fast. No heavy proteins, no complex carbohydrates, just a steady, deliberate influx of probiotic life and highly digestible, low-fructose vegetables. You are constructing a new impenetrable fortress inside your gut. Once the lactobacillus colonies are established, they act as a secondary liver. They predigest toxins, synthesize crucial B vitamins, and send continuous, calming chemical signals via the vagus nerve directly to your brain. This precise reintroduction permanently alters your microbiome architecture. It optimizes your digestive extraction, drastically lowers your future insulin response, and seals the gut lining against future toxic leakage. You have fundamentally rewritten your entire metabolic software. There is a harsh, uncompromising law of biological consequence at play here. Your liver is an incredibly resilient organ, capable of regenerating from mere fragments, but its tolerance for daily fructose toxicity has a hard absolute limit. You cannot out-exercise a diet that forces constant daily lipogenesis. You cannot outrun a suffocated organ. However, if you possess the sheer psychological discipline to shut down your digestive system entirely, your body will execute a masterclass in self-repair that no pharmaceutical drug can replicate. A 14-day water fast is a profound, systemic physiological shock. It is a biological reboot. Therefore, it is absolutely non-negotiable that you consult your primary clinical physician before attempting this. This is a critical medical directive, especially if you are actively taking blood pressure medication, heart rhythm regulators, or any specific hepatic enzyme inhibitors. The pharmacokinetics, how your body absorbs and processes drugs, will change drastically, almost unpredictably, when your stomach and liver are completely empty for 2 weeks. Dosages must be adjusted by a professional. The decision is now entirely yours. You can continue to drag yourself through the fog of chronic fatigue, relying on caffeine, allowing the silent fat to slowly choke your central metabolic engine until a catastrophic failure occurs. Or you can strip the system bare. You can flush the gut, turn off the hunger switch, and force the body to consume its own disease. The power to reverse this pathology does not exist in a prescription bottle. It is waiting for you at the bottom of an empty glass of water. If you are ready to stop treating superficial symptoms and start understanding the brutal, beautiful biological machinery keeping you alive, hit the subscribe button right now. Leave a comment below with your specific medical questions or your own fasting experiences. The choice is on your plate, or rather, in the absence of it.